All right, guys, so we got a question from Latrice Jenkins on the Facebook group. I'm going to try to do this every now and then, which is address some of the design ideas that you guys have that you don't know how to execute and show you how to do them the innate way. And this one is, I happen to have a font that's just like this, so we're going to use that font. I'm going to show you how to color the inside and also add the drips. So let's do it. We're going to try to keep it short and sweet, and you know that's not my thing. Well, I keep it sweet, but definitely not short. File, new document. Let's go 13 by 19, 150 dpi. Create. And what I'm going to do is I have created a snippet, so I'm going to paste it on here just so I see exactly what she wants to do. And Latrice, if you see this video, which I'm going to tag you, go ahead and post your email. And because you came up with this idea, I'm going to send you this Photoshop file for the free ski. And then I might even make it available as a template purchase, depending on what we come up with. Okay, so we want this to say, yes, I'm 35. Let's keep it simple to what it already says. And then if you need to change words, that's what Photoshop files are for. So let's start typing. Yes, comma. And this font that I'm using right now is my Naughty by Nature type of font. It's called Natural Naughty. We're going to change it to the Fresh Princess font. So if I start typing in fresh, that should come up. If you don't have the Fresh Princess font, it is available online, innatelab.com in the DIY section. And then I'm going to make these all caps. So this font does have capital and lowercase. Now, of course, this isn't exactly like this, but at least we have a starting position. So I'm going to change my spacing to be a little closer. Let's see, -50. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit. And then I'm going to make this completely black and white, so I have good contrast. I'll bring my design down just a little bit. All right, and then this is just for comparison. So once I get the yes done, then from there, we'll just duplicate the 35. So yes is on there. Let's see what kind of effects we need to do. First and foremost, we definitely have to work with this open part. So I'm going to do an outer glow. And as a matter of fact, let me do a color overlay. And I'm just going to make it something that's not a color that's not in the design yet, just so I can see what I'm working with, so I can tell the difference between my outer glow and my color overlay. So my outer glow is deep black, so we're good with that. I'm going to increase the contour right now. Let's just make it a single step diagonal, and you'll see what those contours do later. And automatically we are getting a little bit of our outline blown out there. We're going to change the increase the spread, decrease the size, so that we get a little bit of a harder line. And you can play with this until you get it exactly how you want. As a matter of fact, let's see if stroke gives us more of what we want, because what the stroke does is it allows us to have that clean edge. So we'll do a color instead of a gradient, and we'll increase that. And we're just going to do a tiny outline, because first we want to make sure everything has at least some type of outline around it. And then we'll do a drop shadow, because as you can tell here, this drop shadow is just a little offset, so it's not going to be uniformly around it. And one thing I want to show you about drop shadows is you can actually change it from the artboard. You don't have to just play with the settings here. So I'm going to decrease the size, increase the spread, so I get a little bit of a harder drop shadow. And I'm okay with that. I'm going to say okay here. Now we do have a little bit of overlapping, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that absolutely last. Like as far as coloring in the inside here, we're going to do that last. Because we're also going to transform this a little bit. I just hit Control T and I'm just smushing this in while holding the Shift key, so it lets me do it a little disproportionately. And I'm going to do one. I'm going to hold down my Alt key, create a copy of that. Yes. And we're going to type in I'm. And we'll increase the I'm just a little bit. And then we'll Alt and drag the I'm. Double click here, put the number 35. And I'm definitely going to decrease my tracking here to maybe -100, because I want the 3 and the 5 to be closer. -150. Here we go. And now for this one, I'm going to do Control T. I'm going to drag this one out a little bit. I'm holding down Shift so I can stretch it disproportionately. And then the other thing that's happening is my drop shadow and everything is not necessarily changing the same, but that's cool. We'll increase it as we visually see needed. And I want you to know not everything is exact. If this was being airbrushed right now, it wouldn't be exact. So don't be so hard on yourself. I think I just did something with my color. I don't know what I did. We'll figure it out in a moment. Control T, I'm just stretching. And this has a good deal of overlapping and layering, so we'll keep with that. Hit enter to lock that in. Drag the 35 below the I'm. And let's take a look at our image again just to see how we're working with that. And the fonts are a little bit different, but I don't think we're going to get much better than this. All right, and let's see what else we have before we get into any coloring. I think I'm going to take my yes and I'm and bring it up. I'm just holding down Control so I can select multiple layers and bring that up just a little bit. Then for my 35, I'm going to increase my stroke just a little. And then also increase my drop shadow, hopefully. There we go. I'll still fill out that edge there, give me a crisp edge here. And for some reason, when you change the spread to exactly 100%, it looks janky at the edge. So you're gonna have a little bit, excuse me, of a fade off on the edge there. That's cool there. Let's do the I'm. Oh, as also for the drop shadow, let's change the direction of it, because on the graphic it's going top right, so we can use global light. Excuse me, when I tell it to use global light, typically it means wherever I'm changing it, we're all going to use the same angle. Let's see, down a little bit, back a little bit. So we did negative 175, distance is 35. Let's see if I would have had the global light selected in the first place. Let's see if that's going to automatically update when I tell it to use global light. Yep, it did. So let's just go ahead and take all of my drop shadows and just check off the use global light tick mark, and those are all good to go. Alright, so coloring here, we could literally go in and recreate these exact same colors, and I think we will do that. Let me just bring this up as if it was a color palette now. So literally I am going to create a new layer on top of this, everything we have going on. New layer. And I'm actually gonna like color right on top of this one. And basically I'm doing some arbitrary shapes here. We'll take that one, and I just use my polygon lasso tool. I'm gonna get my paint bucket, hold Alt, and fill that up. Let's go ahead and do some yellow now. I need to make sure I have the new selection done, so I'm going to Control D to deselect because I want to basically overlap these colors. Now I could do each color on a separate layer, which I think I will do. So let me do this. Wherever I have blue, I'm going to go ahead and just create the blue. So then that way when we're done, I love to create my files now, especially since I have you all in my life. I like to create files that we can reuse and create as templates. And this blue might not be as vibrant as you want it. That's okay. That's what we have the color overlay feature for. And then what I'm going to do also, instead of having these hard lines, we're going to fade these edges off so that they overlap, where it looks like it was maybe more spray painted than painted with frog tape. Anywhere else that we have blue? I think that's it for blue. So let's select, let's deselect. We're going to grab, well, let's create a new layer, and we'll do, let's just say we'll do green as the base layer. So I'm just going to make a big rectangle. Oh, no, we're not going to do the base layer till last, but we'll save green to do the base layer. So let's do some of this pop of pink here. There, there, there. And we'll go to our paint bucket, Alt, turns into a color picker. Pick that pink, and now we'll paint with that pink. Same thing down here. And I am going to overlap. Pink. Fill that paint bucket. That's it for the pink. Next color will be the yellow. New layer. Who this? Let's do yellow. It's a little more yellow here. And I can now select my add to selection, because all of this is all going to be yellow, so I don't have to do the new selection. So now as I continue to click with the polygon lasso, it's going to add to my selection. Alright, so that's all my yellow. I can grab my paint bucket. I'm going to Alt select yellow, in the graphic, and then when I paint, bam, it paints all of those at the same time. Next color is the purple, and now I want to Control D to deselect because I'm on a new layer and new color. And I don't see, I think I have some purple down there. I don't see it clearly, but this is design, so we're gonna arbitrarily set whatever we want up. I'm being a little careful to overlap a little bit. I'm not seeing exactly where this is. If I want to see completely, I can take my blue and bring the opacity down a little bit so I can maybe see where this purple is. And you don't have to take things so literally. Make your own version of it and you'll be good. Now make sure you're on this new layer because we want to paint on top of the blue. We're going to take our paint bucket, Alt, select this purple, paint that on there, select, deselect, turn our blue opacity all the way back up to 100%. And now we can go below all of these layers, create a new layer, and I'm just going to do a green box behind all of this. So we'll get our fill bucket, Alt, select the green, and paste. We'll make a group out of all of this and see how we're going to end up using it. And what we'll do is shift it around based on which letters, because we don't want it to look like it applied to all the letters at once. So here is our group here. We'll call this the editable text, and we'll call this our all color patchwork. And we'll go ahead and Control D to deselect, or you can go to select, deselect. And let's take our all color patchwork and we're going to turn it into, you guessed it, a smart object. And that's so that basically, number one, I can use it to create a clipping mask. And I just created a clipping mask and it clipped it into this text down here. And there we can play with these blend modes. And y'all can have fun with that, but I'm going to get more exact as to how this really works. So we'll call it normal for now, and then we're going to turn it off, because what I need to happen for the editable text is this in front and in front of here. So now is the moment of truth for our patchwork. We're actually going to take the patchwork and drag one version of it. It's still a smart object. I'm going to Alt, drag another version of it here, Alt, drag another version here. And then we're going to right click, we'll turn it on just to make it visible. Right click and create a clipping mask. Take off the color overlay. And then that way we see the image through there. So we do have our black shadow there. Turn this one on, right click, create a clipping mask, turn off the color overlay. Same thing here, make it visible, right click, create a clipping mask, and turn off the color overlay. Now it does look kind of matchy. So if you want to, let's say for the 35, you want to Control T, increase that size a little bit, rotate it even. You can even push it in, stretch it out. It doesn't matter, this is all arbitrary. And then let's say we do the same thing for the yes. Control T, but maybe, oh, not for the yes. the patchwork over the S. Let's say we resize it down a little bit. So maybe we do get a little of that pink in there where it's not before. So that would be that. And if we want to add the drip effect, I'm going to turn off this layer. Now I'm just going to see that I do have a couple of blue drips here, there, maybe a couple of pink drips there. I'm going to take my entire editable text, Control T, make it as big as I can get it on. Dang, I don't want to do that. When I'm done and I merge it, then I'll make it bigger, because I don't feel like playing with my shadows and all that I have like perfectly selected right now. So what I'll do is below the editable text, let's create a new layer and let's just call it drips. I'm going to grab my brush and a drip brush, which is somewhere in here. Let's grab some long drips. Here we go. And this brush is going to automatically size. I'm going to make it black just so I can clearly see where it's going. Now I'm going to right click and change my size. If I don't see the size update, then I'm just going to plop it on my screen and see where it goes. And it previews, if you can see, the size that the brush will be. So if it gets me to a size I don't appreciate, like I don't want it to be that small or that big, normally I just click off the screen. And then that was a little too tiny for me, or maybe not. Maybe I'll still use it. You can tell I don't really like the tiny ones. And this one is one, it's not a clean drip. I do have a cleaner drip one. But this is what you all can play with too. And the reason why I don't care what color the drips are right now is because I'm going to do an overlay and just color over it whatever color I want in that section. That one's too tiny. I'm going to click off screen, click off screen. I didn't like how tiny it was going. Alright, so maybe you wouldn't even see if I put it on here because it's behind everything, so I'm not even going to play with it. But you could do drips on each layer, like have some on the I'm, have some behind the yes. I'm keeping this simple because I want you all to be able to recreate this. Alright, so those are my drips. Now what I can do is a new layer over my drips. I'm going to grab my paintbrush, and instead of a drip, I'm just going to do my soft brush, and I'm going to paint whatever color I want this to drip. So let's say I have them closest to pink. I'm going to alt select my pink and just paint over that drip. And then I'm going to right click and create a clipping mask so that this is only going to apply to the drips I have here. So that pink is there, and maybe I want it to fade pink to purple. Oops, didn't know you could do that, huh? Alright, maybe this one fades pink to green. Yep. Then I can do this one. Let's say it starts off yellow and goes to purple. Starts off blue on this side. Hold down Alt. I'm going to get a color picker. Alright, so that's it for my drips. And technically I'm done. I don't know how long that took me. Let's say maybe about 20 minutes to recreate this, but now it's a template. I can go in and I can edit my text. So yes, I am actually 35. But let's just say this was for next year. Yes, I'm 36. Well, look at there. It's all editable. So that is it. I was also going to show you, if you double click this patchwork down, let's say you have some sneakers. What are some colorful 90s sneakers? I don't know, I'm just doing a little Googlage right now. I'm actually waiting on my YouTube video to finish uploading. It is done. You guys check out my YouTube video for an all over 3D shirt, or all over ish, and then I'll be doing a real 3D shirt soon. Oh, it's already got 8 views. I love y'all. Yeah, so you guys check me out. Anyways, back to the 90 sneakers. Okay, let's go with that one. I don't know if that's a popular colorway or not, but I just want to show you all, if you had a pair of sneakers, if someone sent you an image. Nope, don't need 10% off because I'm not buying these ugly ass shoes. Well, no offense to those who may have it. Alright, so let's just say if it won't let you grab what you need to grab, go inspect that baby. Inspect. Let me see. Right click. If you go to inspect, it automatically goes to this mobile view. And then when I hit inspect again, it takes me to the snitch panel. And the snitch panel is going to tell me what's on here. I'm going to open a new tab. It's going to give me that image it wouldn't let me right click on. Bam. So I'm just going to save that image as Uglass Nike. So the Uglass Nike has been saved. I'm going to drag it onto my Photoshop artboard whenever it's ready. Hit enter. And these colors are not very different from the colors that are already selected. Alright, so now instead of actually trying to change these colors, I'm just going to do a straight up color overlay. So color overlay for this green. I'm going to select my swatch, select somewhere on that shoe, and you may have to move your shoe over a little bit. So I'm going to say okay to this one. But this shoe, I'm going to drag where I can see what's going on. And then we're going to crop this when I'm done too, because I don't like that it has this extra space over here. That'll get confusing when you're trying to crop it into your images. So let's say we got green. Let's do this yellowish color overlay. It's just a little more mustard. So blend mode is normal. I'm going to choose the mustard and say okay. What else? It has this blue too. What is up? This is like I guess meant to be. Alright, let's do a color overlay for the blue. And this is important because I could have just printed this as is, but it would not have given the same exact hues. So now we have that option. And then the pink. It has pink too. But I tell y'all, the way things line up in this universe. Alright, so we got our hot pink, and of course we don't need white. The shirt's white. There's like a little bit of purple. Oh, we do have purple on here too. I'm sorry I sound so shocked, but I did not prepare this. So when I do these, my Innate Creatives, when you all ask questions, I won't be able to redesign every single time, but when you do, you all will have priority because you support my group. And also, a lot of times what Innate Creative Group is for helping you all that have already purchased my templates. And you know, you may need some help on editing techniques or that sort of thing. So we'll say okay. I think that's good to go. Now these are all color overlays, so if I want to take them off, I can do multiple color overlays. So let's say I did one shoe colorway and I wanted to come in and do another one. I can make this one a different color, and I still have my other color overlay saved. So this can get very intense, so you don't want to have 50 different color overlays for each color. but it does give you some option there. So I'm gonna leave the ugly ass Nike in here for you because I want you to play with this and reference it. But I am going to cut this canvas size. Oh, that's what it was. This one went off the edge a little bit. And I just want to clean this up to where I wouldn't be ashamed of any of this hanging off in any capacity. All right. Another thing I said you could do too is to fade off these edges, but I honestly like it with the hard edges. So I'm gonna leave it alone. But yeah, if you did want to fade off these edges, you can by using the selection tool and then feathering off those edges. But that's it. And if I wanted to compare it to my shoe again, and here's a suggestion too for you all who do a lot of this type of stuff. Go ahead and put the shoe in there next to the shirt so people understand that they don't understand you can match things. They think the way that design is set up that you get whatever is shown available. I was trying to cut out the background there, but there's so much white in the shoe, it's going inside, and I don't feel like cutting out the actual shoe. So what I'll do is I'm going to manipulate a little bit of this background out. I'm not going to take my time and cut this out. We're going to make a layer mask there. Control T. I'm going to blow that up so that it looks like it's a part of the design. And then I'm going to choose the multiply. And this is your blend mode here. So I chose multiply so that that white wouldn't be wouldn't show above the graphic, but you also see that you don't get the advantage of the white behind it either. So I just wanted to look mildly close. It's all apart, and I'm sure like somebody might ask you to print the shoe on the shirt, but I'm more or less trying to make it look like it's something made to match that design. So that is it, my loves. I'm gonna go ahead and save this as a template. I might make this like a I might make this a $15 template so that you would get all of this plus the font, because normally the fonts are $10 or $20 anyway. But if you're watching this, that means that you probably found this in the Innate Creatives group. So I'm gonna look out for you. And I see this is crossing a little bit. That's throwing my eye off. So I'm going to go back to my kerning here. Not my kerning. What is this? My tracking. 125, negative 125. Negative 120. There we go. Did a little bit better for me. I just don't like visually when things look too unconvincing. So you can play with that. And now, of course, I have different colors, so I might want to go in and change this green drip, color over it with the darker green, whatever have you. But now you have that option. You can also take this same patchwork, right? And you can drag that patchwork above your drips, turn off your spray painted layer, and you literally have your color drips based on, because this is going to update with your smart objects. Only thing is it's not done with a soft brush, so it doesn't fade from one color to the next. But hey, you can take that or leave it. Alright, so this is a very simple file. I'm sure this is as much as I'm going to do with this template, especially if I'm going to sell it for $15 with the font. So this tells you exactly how to edit this file as well as how to create it from scratch. I always tell y'all how to not pay me for something. Don't know when I'm going to stop doing that. but take advantage of it while I'm doing it. All right, guys, I'm going to sign out for the day, and one more time, let's shout out our love, Latrice. Thank you for this suggestion. I hope you got your design on, and I saw some of the progress you were making with this, and I hope this tutorial helps you even further. I will check in with you all very soon. Don't forget to check out Innate Lab and also the newest YouTube video that's out. All right, guys, see you in a bit.